I want to walk you through a story that sounds like it's ripped from a sci-fi script, but I promise you it's happening right now. It's about a single, short presentation and how it made one manager's job completely obsolete. You know, that's the one thing he remembers most clearly. Not the fancy charts or the tech, but the sound of his colleagues clapping. And we're about to find out why that applause was basically the starting pistol for the end of his career. All right, so picture this. It's a Monday morning. You're in one of those bright, glass-walled leadership meetings. A consultant is up front, smiling, ready to show everyone the next big thing. This is the moment where everything changes. Now, to give you some context, the report she's about to create would normally take this manager's team 2 full days to put together. I mean, think about that. Days of cleaning data, validating numbers, getting the formatting right, and then his own final crucial review before it ever saw an executive's desk. The consultant clicks a single button, and in 12 seconds, literally 12 seconds, 2 days of painstaking human effort and coordination just vanished. The difference is just, well, it's staggering. And here's the really wild part. The output wasn't just fast, it was final. It spit out a complete dashboard, a full trend analysis. It even wrote the executive summary and included a forecast. It didn't look like a first draft. It looked like the thing you'd present to the board. No follow-up questions needed. For 15 years, this manager's entire value, his whole career, was built around one single thing: supervision. He was the human filter between the raw data and the big decisions. And in that one meeting, he watched his entire professional identity get turned into a software feature. He was about to learn a brutal lesson. His job, supervision, wasn't a safeguard, it was a target.
So, while most of the room is clapping for this cool new tech, our manager is seeing something else entirely. He's reading the room, and the signals he's picking up are not good.
He looks over at the CFO and the director of operations, and he sees it. They aren't just impressed. They're calculating. He recognizes that slow, deliberate nod. It's the cost savings nod. The nod that's just business speak for cutting heads. And this is the cold, hard logic that hits him like a ton of bricks. The applause isn't really for innovation. It's for efficiency. It's for making a process, and maybe, just maybe, an entire department cheaper. His department. On the drive home that night, he has this chilling thought. This is how automation really works, isn't it? It doesn't just stop at the easy, repetitive tasks. It starts there, sure, but then it studies the patterns. Then it absorbs the human judgment. And eventually, it starts studying the managers themselves. And yep, sure enough, 3 weeks go by, and he's called into a workflow optimization meeting. There's no applause this time, just spreadsheets projected on the wall. And there it is. His department, the team he spent years building, is now just a line item highlighted in yellow. A cost to be optimized. When the official announcement came, it was quiet. It was buried in all that corporate jargon we all know so well. No big drama, just a memo about restructuring for strategic agility. And here's the point we really need to understand. He wasn't replaced by some walking, talking robot. His role was just absorbed by a system that was way more efficient. The company didn't need a supervisor anymore. They needed a system operator for the new tool. And that was a more technical job that paid less. He didn't get it. Okay, let's zoom out here because there's a huge lesson for all of us in this story. AI and automation, they don't really come for job titles. They come for friction. They hunt for patterns, for repetition, for any process that's based on a set of rules. In other words, they hunt for the very core of what supervision is. This right here is the takeaway. If you're a manager and you feel safe because you think your job is to oversee work instead of do the work, you need to understand something. Oversight is a pattern. It's measurable. And as this manager found out the hard way, anything that can be measured can eventually be optimized away. All right, so that's the problem. And yeah, it is kind of scary. So what's the answer? How do you make sure you don't become just another line item on a spreadsheet? The answer is making a shift, a big one, away from supervision and towards interpretation. So here's what that pivot looks like. You have to move from just reviewing work to actually interpreting what it means for the business. You move from just giving your approval to actively influencing key decisions. And you stop just owning a process, and you start owning the final business outcome. So what is interpretation really? Well, it's all the messy human stuff that software just can't touch. It's connecting the numbers on a dashboard to the company's grand strategy. It's explaining the painful trade-offs of a big decision. It's reading the politics in a tense boardroom and being the one who takes accountability when things get tough. That is where human value really is. And this all boils down to a really critical question you need to ask yourself. And be honest. Think about your last work week. Were you spending most of your time managing the flow of reports, or were you truly shaping the decisions that came from them? Your answer to that question is a pretty solid indicator of how vulnerable you are right now. Because the next time a consultant stands up to demo the hot new AI tool at your company, you have to be ready. If your value is still just supervising a process, that applause you'll hear won't be about innovation. For you, it'll be the sound of a clock starting, a countdown, and by the time the room starts clapping, the decision about your role might already be a foregone conclusion.